as a league aren't given the respect that we deserve. And finally, Clemson has a hiccup year, and it's like everybody's surprised that they're close games. We've been telling y'all we've been playing good teams every year, and that's kind of been the case. But at the same time, we know what we're capable of, and we're ready to get back to that. And, it's going to start with this game. We're only focused on this game and being the best version of ourselves. But we're excited. We're excited to go play. Excited to prove, that we belong, and not only we belong, but we're one of the best in the country. And we're just happy to get that opportunity all over again. Clean slate, different team, and different challenge. But we're ready.
How much better is your offense this year?
They're so much better. Everybody's grown. I think everybody in every position has grown. But when you specify the offense, there's not one person on the offensive side of the ball who didn't get better this year, who hasn't grown in some capacity over the spring, over the summer. As a team, we all got so much better, got so much closer. Coach Sweeney would tell you this is one of the closest teams, the well-knit teams he's had since he's coached here. And I can definitely say this is the most well-knit team I've been a part of since I've been here. The talent's there, the sky's the limit for us. But as an offense and really as a team, there's nobody who took a step back. Everybody in some form or fashion has gotten better, and you're going to see a better version of everyone coming Monday.
You talked about kind of getting in your own way last year as being one of the reasons that maybe the season didn't play out the way you had hoped it would. Has this offseason been about changing things or kind of doing what you've always done, just better than you did it last year?
Yeah, it's been about doing what we always done, and Coach Sweeney will allude to the fact that we just got to get back to who we are. Best is the standard, all in, those things. Like, we hear them so many times that I think the problem last year is, it could just be in one ear and out the other. With this team, it's like, what does that really mean, right? Does that mean if we're going to be the best that we can possibly be, that's first, it starts with self, right? If I'm going to show up every day, it's holding everybody accountable, and, not only holding everybody accountable, but holding myself accountable to what we see as the standard, right? And I think, with that mindset, it came as well, like in games. I think the fans can feel it too, as far as we're just used to winning, right? And there was no we had lost the appreciation for what it takes to win, and we're excited to get back to that. There's not going to be one game that we have this year where not only that we just expect to win, but like it's just going to be a rollover game. We're going to really show the respect that we have for each opponent, and really just playing to dominate. And I think that's what it's going to be. I know for myself, it could be something as small as like when we win games, Coach say, we win, we dance. Felt like I got too old to just dance, but I promise you, every win we get this year, I'm dancing my tail off because I am reminded of how hard it is to win and how much work we put in to win, and I'm going to appreciate every moment we get.
I know that people will have offered some critique, I guess, maybe of not going into the transfer portal and getting a bunch of good players, or you could have gone out and hired the biggest name coordinators in the world to replace the coaches who left, and that hasn't been the way that it happened. Do you want to see that as sort of a reminder that, like, and it isn't about like we were missing something, it was about we already had it here, we just need to do that better?
Yes, it's definitely everything we need, we already had here. There's no doubt about that. And everybody, he's bought in. Coach Sweeney, he's done a great job. He sees it before we ever could, alluding to new coordinators and, people that might need to come in here. We might, as players, want, this guy has the best name, this guy has this pedigree, but Coach Sweeney does a great job of understanding the culture that he's built, and what's the best fit for us as players. And the hires he's had has been home run. Everybody who stepped into this building as a first year, whether it be coordinators, GAs, whatever, I mean, the mesh has been amazing from a staff standpoint, and from a player standpoint, everything, like I said, everything we need was already in this building, and it was only a matter of everybody growing and being a better part of themselves. And that's what, like I said, that's what we've seen throughout the spring and the summer, and excited to see it on display, coming Monday.
KJ, is that a big reason why you chose to come back instead of, going portal or going NFL?
I would say that. I think the biggest reason Coach Sweeney, me and myself and him had a great talk, and he pretty much said, I could go somewhere and be the starter and be the guy, whatever, that looks like, outside in, that looks great, but the best thing he said to me was, you will have an NFL, caliber position room coming back next year. And when I heard that, number one, I want to win, right? And I think it's all fun and games, if we are, maybe dominating the offense in practice or whatever as it was last year. But when we're all on the same sideline, it's not fun. It's not fun no more, right? And when I thought about that, it's like I don't want to go anywhere and just be the guy and we're losing 6 games. I would never want that. I want to be the guy on the team where we're winning week in and week out. And in order for that to happen, I have to be surrounded by good players. And with that being said, when I get to the next level, it's going to be great players, all across the board. So why not? This is like practice. This is a practice year for me in the NFL. Like everybody in my room, is capable of being in the NFL, and God willing, we'll have them in the league one day. And so once he kind of put that perspective in my mind, I was just excited. I was like, I can't wait to work with these guys every day, and really the ability that we have to work off each other, and how long we've been here. It's definitely made me a better player, and I know it's made everybody, especially across the D-line, a better version of themselves.
Going back to the dancing, everybody, Coach Sweeney says winning is hard, and it is. You had some opportunities last year, I call them opportunities, but you could hear the opposing fans at NC State cheering after you lost. You could hear what happened at Pitt after you lost. Other games where it was closer than maybe they've been in the past. Does that give you a better appreciation for what happened in the years before, and a desire to kind of get back to that?
100%. Anytime we have lost again, anytime I've been a part of a loss, it just, number one, it's an immediate reminder of the type of success we've had as a program and as a team. In our minds, it's whenever I've lost a game, it's obviously not something we want, and it immediately becomes on to the next mindset as it does with a win. But you just kind of, when you see the fans storm the field, when you see the stuff on social media as far as what happens when Clemson loses, you just kind of have to you have to sit back and just smile in the sense of wow, that's the impact we've had on college football. And when we've won week in and week out, you're not as well reminded of that. So we don't need any more reminders. We're good. But at the same time, yeah, it's definitely been a weird appreciation for, like I said, what Coach Sweeney and what the success we've had earlier in my career, as far as on the big stages, and we're ready to get back to that.
KJ, the struggles of DJ last season have been well chronicled, and obviously it wasn't all on him last year with the offense, but he seems to have really maintained the respect of the entire locker room. Why do you think that is?
I think you made a great point. It wasn't all on him. And the thing is, the locker room knows that. A lot of the fans don't. But he's done a great job of just taking that on the chest. And that's the leader. That's the leader you want to see in a quarterback. That every team wants to see in their quarterback. And I think that's probably the number one reason is he's going to take the bullet for us, as a team, especially as an offense. But it's not always on him. And when you're that wide receiver, you're that offensive lineman who's made that mistake, and you see someone else take the blame, that's one of the worst feelings in the world for any player. Is I've made the mistake, someone else has to take the blame for me. Not only do you have that respect for that said player, but you want to fix that so it never happens again. And I can say as an offense, having to compete versus them every single day, that's been the mindset. Is we gonna handle ours. And just like DJ has one position on the field, that left guard, that left tackle, that wide receiver, that tight end, their job is just as important. And I think they've done a great job of, number one, as an offense, just understanding how the importance that comes with each position, and then at the same time just having that mutual respect for what the quarterback has to do and has to represent each week. So DJ's done a great job, and he's one of those guys, obviously, who I would say has done much better and become a better version of himself in the offseason.
What time for about one or two more.
What have you seen from him just practicing against him that gives you confidence that he can be improved on the field in his play?
I'd say from what the fans out there, he's definitely moving better. Being a guy who's had a leg injury as well, I understand that that ability to not mentally be there as far as confident in a said injury. That's real struggles as far as wanting to be the best on the field and compete to a certain standard, but understanding that that's not the same. You don't have the same body that you used to have, and for him to be held on that pedestal in that limelight and not have the same, you know, body and be able to function the same way, that's a very tough mental battle to have to go through. And so I'd say first thing is he's just moving better. He's confident in his body. He's confident in the way everything feels. He's older, so the offense is, you know, more his. But from a leadership standpoint, from, you know, a guy who sits beside him every day, to his freaking neighbor, his brother, I just love, you know, the person he's become. As simple as, you know, just being in the front of the team meetings. You know, that's not necessarily what he's always wanted to do, but he understands what's needed for this team is to see him in a role that, you know, just lead us, bro. And I lead me. You know, he's younger than me, but I'm 100% behind, you know, whatever he wants for this team because he's made it the right thing. So being an older guy, I just love, you know, who he's grown into as a person more than anything, in his faith, you know, handling the adversity of everybody on the outside. He's done a great job for someone who's freaking not even 22 yet. You know, you can't really teach that. That's just kind of God-given, and he's definitely inspired me, you know, how he's handled it all.
Take one more for KJ if anybody has one. Anybody from Zoom have a question for KJ?
Yeah, I've got one. KJ, what have you seen from Justin Maskell stepping in with the XD industry, and how do you think he can help you all this year?
Dr. Strange, yes, sir. That boy has been a dog. J Mass, he's been consistent. I think if you talk to him, he's always been a dog, been physical. His physicality for the game is something that's inspired my game as far as, you know, how I wanted to play the game. That's kind of been his cornerstone. But where he's grown in his game is just the mindset, the IQ of it all. I think everybody comes in with certain challenges when they first get here. You know, mine was more of the physical, you know, stature and the aggression. Really had a good feel for the game, you know, having my father. But for some people, and I think Mass would agree, you know, it was just, you know, hit you and then make a play. But there's so many small things that go into, you know, making those plays and being in the right places. And I'd say, you know, other than his leadership and, you know, his ability to speak up when he feels like something's off, I'd also say, you know, his IQ and, you know, feel for the game has been something that's made this room better. And he's definitely one of those people, for the reason I've come back, because I know competing with him is going to make both of us better. And when he gets in the league as well, you know, he's going to be prepared for, you know, those rooms that have so much talent, the same way I will. So, you know, he's just made this defensive line better, made me better, and made this team better for sure.
That's a perfect segue. We'll wrap KJ up.